Mason Rudolph. Open to coming back to Pittsburgh.
Man, let's go. Let's do it.
You ready?
I'm listening, man.
So, this is from the Tribune Reviews. Tim Benz.
Tim Benz, okay.
Says Rudolph will test free agency, but isn't ruling out a return to Pittsburgh. According to a text exchange on Wednesday with a source close to the situation, Rudolph's primary goal is to explore his options outside of Pittsburgh. However, he wouldn't close the door unnecessarily on another contract with the Steelers. I think part of that, too, is whether or not Mitch is back. Yeah, that's what the headline reads. Won't close the door on Steelers if team moves on from Mitch Trubisky.
Once again, I think this is Mason just proving that he is the perfect professional. He says what he's supposed to say, even when he gets ridiculed, when he gets backdoored, when he gets disrespected, and all the other stuff in between. He continues to conduct himself in a professional manner, man. And I got a ton of respect for him, man, because it's not easy. It's very easy to go up here and really say stuff, really attack people and come and do that. But for Mason, man, like, I think it is dope for him to be able to be candid. He said that, yeah, he is looking for other opportunities elsewhere. But you never want to close the door here. Because, like you said, man, Kenny's a starting quarterback. Cool. If Mitch and Mason are no longer on the roster, who are the backup quarterbacks? We only got how many draft picks? So we going into a season, Kenny is the guy, and then 2 7th-rounders or a 7th-rounder and an undrafted guy. Like, for Mason, he's not silly. He understands the business element of it. Of, all right, I might not get the money that I want on this open market, but if I find it where, you know what, I can get 2 to stay here.
No matter what, you're probably
going
to be a backup.
I'm going to stay here. Yeah, it could be a scenario like that. He looks and says, what if Kenny goes down? What if Kenny struggles? There's nobody else up here. I can go here and guarantee my spot for at least this season. And then we'll go from there. We'll see what that looks like if another opportunity emerges here in Pittsburgh. Or do I leave and test the market again? But yeah, for him, man, he's definitely handling it the right way. Like I said, it's not easy to do, though. Every single time. I mean, think about it. Like, you're smirking at it, right? Like, this is a dude job we talk about, bro. Like, for him, man, he feel that every single day. But he handling it right, though, man. He definitely handling it right.
He's taking a page out of what they teach you in the corporate world.
Yes.
Do not burn bridges.
Yes. Whereas most people, it's like, bro, nah, F that. I ain't coming back here. Bump that. I don't care what y'all
Mitch
doing on
is
the roster.
Borderline burn the bridge here with saying, like, I think I signed a little too soon. He's still on the roster.
It's like, you got to be, like, you don't want to just throw that out there because you never know how this thing could all play out. You never know. For Mitch or for Mason. Maybe it's not this year, but who knows, even if it's a year from now. Like, we just don't know, so you don't want to have a hard stance one way or the other. But I think Mason was clear, though, with that answer of, I'm looking for other opportunities elsewhere first.
That's what it says. Primary goal.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I didn't even think this was an option. And I don't know how sincere he is with coming back to Pittsburgh part of this statement. But if he's actually willing, I think he'd be the perfect backup for us.
Of course. Him and Mitch. We talked about both of them dudes. They fit.
Mason would be cheaper than Mitch.
Yeah, absolutely. Familiar, homegrown. Yeah. It's just, if you're Mason, what is the draw? Do you feel that the team would ever switch from Kenny next season? Do you feel like Kenny is right? Do you feel like Kenny is going to play bad enough for it to get to that? Or do you think he's going to get hurt again? Those are some of the things you got to weigh, but that's a lot that you got to hope goes in your favor for you to even get a chance to put out any tape. Or you say, I'm going to do all the preseason. I know I'm going to start every preseason game because they ain't going to have Kenny out there playing a ton. So this could be my chance to put whatever tape I need out there. And then when the season hits, all right.
Wink, wink deal with the Steelers. Hey, could you maybe trade me?
Right. Like maybe something like that. Otherwise, I don't really see it making a lot of sense for Mason to want to come back. For the Steelers, it makes perfect sense for him to stay here. If you're the Steelers, yeah, you want him back. Homegrown, familiar. He can get you out of a stadium. You've already won games with him. You feel good about it. He's going to be cheap. But if you're Mason, yeah, I don't see why you would want to come back here.
It makes sense for him if you're willing to just settle into this role for the rest of your career. If you want a new challenge, it makes no sense.
But think about what you're saying. Settle in this role for the rest of your career. You don't have a career if this is what you're settling into because you never proved that you could be a guy.
He could be career backup. Make some money doing that.
All the career backups that you're going to bring up, though, have had more success. That's the problem. This is the same thing we talked about with Landry. It's like, yeah, you can stay here and be Ben backup. Ben backup. All right, cool. After a couple of years, it's like, nah, we're going to bring in somebody else. Dobbs, what's up, man?
Batch made it a while.
Batch had already been a starter in this league. Batch had already started in Detroit. Won games in Detroit.
He had moments, too, when he came in as a backup.
We can't look at Mason and say, Mitch Trubisky has the chance to do a Charlie. To go, and if he wanted to say, I'm going to be a career backup going forward, he's the prime candidate because he's already proven that he can win. He has a Pro Bowl under his belt. He was a pedigree guy. Now he could be the guy that, hey, mentor Kenny. Talk to Kenny. If Kenny gets hurt, you're the guy to come in, and we would feel fine with that.
Yeah.
I don't think that Mason is on that level yet, though, because he hasn't had the type of success that a Mitch has had to even say that I'm going to transition to being a backup going forward.
Yeah. I think the other way it would make sense is if you're just going to be considered a backup to any team that's going to sign you. And you see Pittsburgh, you're like, familiar place.
Yeah.
If there is an injury or something, I like my chances to succeed out on the field just because of all that familiarity. Yeah. But that's really all you're banking on because...
And that's a one-year bank.
Yeah, like, it's a one-year bank, and...
Because they're going to draft somebody next year after that.
Yeah. There's just weird vibes with Mason and the Steelers organization, also the fans, the city, and all that stuff. Like, you're just not going to be looked at. And there's probably the light that you want to be looked in.
And there's literally nothing that he did wrong. That's the other part. It's like, bro, you ain't do nothing crazy on your part.
He's been all class, actually.
This is just how it goes at times, man. It's not always fair, but this is how it goes, man.
Yeah, if he's serious about this option, I'd love to have Mason back as the backup. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Get him back for a couple mil or something.
Yeah.
What do we do with Mitch?
For the Steelers, absolutely. For Mason, I'm like, bro, man, you better go somewhere else.
All right. Hey, if we could lock in Mason for like 2 or 3 mil, that makes the Mitch cutting scenario.
Oh yeah, you ain't tripping on it.
Yeah, I think I'm fine with that. Then.
And then
because then you're actually saving like $5 or $6 million.
Then I'm either going with the second 7th round pick or undrafted. I'm gonna bring in a quarterback. So I got me another guy on the roster, a practice squad development guy, and I'm good. Yeah. But if I don't have Mitch or Mason, I think I have to upgrade my backup quarterback room. So now instead of me saying 7th round pick, I'm drafting the quarterback. It might be 4th round. It might be 3rd round. Or you spend a little bit on a Brissett or a Case Keenum. But those are some of the avenues that we got to look at. But yeah. But that creates a potential issue, though.
What?
Just the backup quarterback thing now, when I think of that. But we've already
Mason
talked
opening the doors to the return.
Yeah, just in the sense of when we say if both of those guys leave, we have to use assets or resources to replace them. Even though we don't value them on the team right now in the sense of, man.
Oh, yeah, that's why I think
you see what I mean? Like, it's a great scenario if you could keep them.
A little bit.
Yeah, if you could keep them, it's great. If they leave, you got to take some of that free agency dollars. And now, instead of us talking, oh, man, we could spend a little bit on that or on that.
You got to spend like 4 or 5 mil on Brissett or
I got to get a quarterback.
Or something.
Or I got to go in this draft and say, I got to go in the 3rd round. I got to go in the 4th round because if Kenny goes down for a game, he's already missed games.
Yeah, get like Hendon Hooker or
I have to have somebody that can come in here and play, though. So it just creates another issue if we don't keep one of those 2 dudes.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. That's why I said, like, keeping Mitch isn't the worst thing because you cutting him, that creates $8 million in dead cap space then. But you're going to use like $4 or $5 million of that on a backup quarterback, presumably. So you're only really saving 3. And would you rather have Mitch versus Brissett? I'd rather just spend that 3, keep Mitch. I think he's a better player. He's been around Kenny this last year, familiar with the organization. Let's just do it that way. Yeah. That's all.
In a perfect world, I love it. But our problem is we've burnt both of those players.
Right. Now, I still think Mitch wants out. We haven't heard from him yet, though.
So it's funny. We talk about like the burning the bridge. It's kind of like the reverse order for the Steelers. It's like y'all kind of, messed them over early on. And now we're kind of looking like, yo, y'all still stand by our backups, though, because this helps us out. This is a great situation for us. And them dudes are kind of like, bro, why would I want to do that? Like, Mason, you know what you did to me my whole time here? Mitch, man, you saw what I did to me a couple weeks here. I don't see why either one of them dudes would want to stay for that.
Mitch is at least getting paid that like $8 million or that salary or whatnot. So it's all on what he weighs. Does he just want more money this year, or does he want another opportunity and maybe you're getting paid less?
Yeah.